And it's time to cross over the desk to take a look at what's grabbing the headlines around the world. Flo is there for the International Press Review. Hi there, Flo. And we're starting, of course, with the big story of the day, the death of Thailand's king. And we're starting with the Thai papers on that.
That's right. Thai papers certainly are mourning the loss of their king. I'm just going to take you through a couple of papers today. First of all, the front page of The Nation. You can see the nation, the kingdom grieves, and you can see this paper is in black and white. Several Thai papers are in black and white, of course, show that they're mourning. In its editorial, The Nation says that he truly was the king of hearts. The king was the pillar and soul of the nation, the guiding light that helped his kingdom in times of crisis. The Bangkok Post, on their front page as well, they talk about how the king always was there to get the country out of gridlock, to hold people together. You can see they're talking about an end of an era. Once again, a black and white front page here. And its editorial, they also call him a guiding light. You can see they're talking about the need to honor his legacy. No words can describe the sense of loss, the grief, the anguish that Thais of all generations feel today, because, of course, most Thais have only known life under the king. And let's take a look at a cartoon as well in the Bangkok Post, where you can see Thais here mourning the loss of their king.
And it's not just the papers in Thailand that are focusing on that death, also papers in the rest of the world looking at what that might mean for the future of the country.
That's right. It's front page news around the world. Let's take a look at the front page of the Wall Street Journal today. You can see here Thailand mourns its beloved king. This really heralds an uncertain era for the country, according to the Wall Street Journal. During his record-breaking 70 years on the throne, the king promoted economic development and resisted the spread of communism. But in its editorial, the Wall Street Journal focuses on divisions that we're now seeing in this royal succession. For all his good works, the king leaves behind a nation deeply divided. In the past 2 decades, the rise of populism under the former Prime Minister Thaksin Shinawatra has challenged the dominance of the military and the aristocratic elites.
And you've got an article from the Daily Beast that shows that with the king gone, there could be fears that those division that Flo was talking about could come back to the front and turn violent.
That's right. You can see they're talking about anguish and fears of unrest. The beloved king's death raises the prospect of unrest and eventual violent confrontation in this deeply divided nation, because as the Wall Street Journal was saying, over the past couple of years, we've seen a lot of violent street protests. We've seen 2 coups d'etats. There's a lot of uncertainty about the future of Thailand. Now, for many people, the king was the adhesive tape that kept the whole country together, that kept the fractious land of smiles together. That's what the Daily Beast says. It's uncertain whether that will remain in the future.
And of course, that's the big question, is what's next? The Crown Prince has been named as the successor, but he says he wants a delay in that. The formal coronation could be months, could be a year away.
That's right. Now, the Crown Prince says that he wants time to mourn his father, just like the country. Now, Libération has a portrait of the 64-year-old prince, a particular beast. That's what the way they describe him. He's quite a controversial character, best known for making his poodle named Fufu an air chief marshal. He's reportedly not very popular amongst Thai people, and you can read more about him here in Libération.
Well, that's the kind of story that would definitely take the public's imagination, wouldn't it? Flo, we're going to move on to another story now. It's getting a lot of attention in the press today. Tomorrow, Russia, Saudi Arabia, Turkey and the US are holding a summit on Syria in the Swiss town of Lausanne.
That's right. Rail Al-Youm, that's a pan-Arab paper based in London, says that the very peaceful town of Lausanne is set to host a tumultuous summit on Syria. Tensions between the US and Russia are at an all-time high. It's quite alarming, this article. It says that there are strong signs of a potential military confrontation between the U.S. and Russia. Now, if anybody's been watching Russian TV, you've certainly been hearing these kind of doomsday warnings. There's an interesting article in Libération today about what's happening on national TV in Russia. Essentially, they're talking about the possibility of World War III, and you can read all about it here in Libération, but we're talking about, for instance, the 24-hour news channel Rossiya 24, saying that Russia is ready to shoot down U.S. fighter jets. You also have an information website in St. Petersburg saying the governor is getting ready to ration bread for a future war.
And let's end with something completely different. This time it's the papers who are celebrating Bob Dylan's win in the Nobel Prize for Literature.
That's right. Opinions are really divided about this. Let's start with The Independent, which says this is a prize that is deserved and overdue. Lots of praise here for Bob Dylan. Cafe, which is a Swedish lifestyle magazine, has, I think, the best article of the day. It talks about what happened when the Swedish public broadcaster found out that it was Bob Dylan. Of course, it took a lot of people by surprise. This is the most important cultural event in Sweden, and they say that, as usual, there was a panel of culture cardigans ready to talk about some unknown author as if everybody knows about him. And then the result came in. It's Bob Dylan, and to quote the article, it says, there was surprised laughter, scattered applause, and then silence. Silence over the whole studio. The whole culture team was caught with their trousers down. They didn't know what to say. How did they handle it? Well, they ended up talking about their favorite Bob Dylan songs, just like everyone else did. And the article says you have these, literature experts that were wondering what happened to all that time I spent comparing literature, drinking wine, while they had to talk about Bob Dylan. And there's one more cartoon. Let's just end with a cartoon in the New York Times so you can see other authors that were a little bit upset about this. I should have been a rock star if I wanted that Nobel Prize.
Absolutely. It's like that exam that you revise for and then you just find the wrong question comes up. Exactly like that. Flo, thank you very much there, Flo, with the International Press Review there.